you seen the last 4 practices from the team?
Well, I mean, you've seen a lot of competition, which is good, both within position, obviously against the defense, back and forth. Guys are working. I think guys are working. We're a year into, this new beginning. Coach Lynn's second year, our second year here in LA. So everybody's a little more settled, a little more, and it's you feel like we're ahead in terms of where we were last year, and we just got to keep our head down and keep working.
Bill, what are your thoughts about obviously Hunter not being here and that injury? How do you move on?
It's just, gosh, you hate to see any of your teammates get hurt, and obviously Hunter, the impact that he has on the field and in the locker room. But I mean, we know he was going to be a big part of our offense this year. Gosh, it just happened on such a routine thing he's done a million times. So I think first you feel terrible for him. You know how excited he was about this season, and you know he's got a long road ahead over the next 6-8 months getting well. But you just have to. It seems like every year you deal with a certain amount of injuries and things that happen that you obviously never expect, and you just have to deal with it. And shoot, we got some young tight ends that are getting a lot of reps now, and we just got to kind of continue with the staff, offensive staff, kind of how we mold it. It'll look different without Hunter in there, but that's again, thankfully we have another 10 practices or so, counting the mini camp, to continue to kind of shape the offense for who we're going to be.
How important are those reps now that you start getting a rapport with those younger tight ends and Virgil just throwing the ball?
Yeah, it's important. I mean, I've tried to make sure even just a little more communication, a little more, in the routes on air, getting those reps that otherwise maybe wouldn't have gotten. You take the first couple and then not. Now it's kind of, well, who's going to who might emerge? Which one of these guys is going to play a bigger role than maybe they were going to? And so I've had to make an emphasis of that in my own mind to give that a little more attention.
That said, there is a guy out there that you have a pretty good rapport in, number 85. Are you lobbying?
Yeah, well, shoot, I would always be excited if he walked back in the door, obviously. But that's something that Tom and John and Coach and those guys will I'm sure, discuss and see about bringing anybody in for that matter. But certainly, he would get my vote.
Have you talked to him? And how would you describe this?
Yeah, I have talked. I have talked to him. I kind of leave that between us. I mean, I have talked to him. I think he first was just like I said, hated it for Hunter. If something were to happen down the road, he wouldn't have wanted it to come that way. With Hunter's absence. But so that was really more of our conversation. But he's doing good. I think this time of year for him, even in this last few years of his career. I don't know that he's doing a ton different than he was. He stayed ready. He wasn't here a ton this time of year. He was always getting himself ready and with his family, with his children. So, I'm sure he's in shape and will be ready if called on and if that's something he's interested in.
When we talked to Tom last week after Hunter went down, he talked about the adaptability of Anthony, of Wiz, maybe subtle changes in the offense to sort of mitigate Hunter's absence. What do you sort of envision when you hear that? And
well,
see it?
I think he's right. I mean, I think we have a lot of great offensive minds on our coaching staff that have been in different systems that have won in many different ways. And I also, we got a deep group of receivers. Does that mean that there's more times when you're in 3 wides or even 4 wides? I don't know. I mean, I'm not giving away any secrets. Those are all just thoughts that you have. Wondering kind of where this thing goes as we keep. Mixing in tight ends, mixing in as Mike keeps coming along, so there's a lot of different things you can do. And there's some games where we play 3 wides almost the whole game, and we're no huddle. And then there's other games where we like being in 2 tight ends, 3 tight ends. Well, Hunter's off the table now from that standpoint. So how does that look? So all those things, those don't have to be answered right now. You kind of see those things, take form through training camp, and I certainly am confident with our staff and our players' ability to adapt and make it go.
It's early, but have any of the young tight ends flashed anything to you?
It's early. I mean, it's early. Sean Cuckin being in the system all last year, and and he's going to be a year better. You think about a guy like Braden that has some speed to him, and has been a couple other places, and he's shown some flashes. Virgil obviously has played a lot of football. So what you kind of see, I think again, you're so limited even now in these 20-minute practices with reps. It's not like you're like, all right, let's. You don't have a lot of data of us seeing kind of what we're going to be as far as some of those young tight ends. So I think that's something again. It'll kind of take form as you move through August.
There'll be a little chippiness between Keenan and Trevor. Do you kind of need that during OTAs to get things?
I mean, I think it's good when it's controlled. Obviously, it was nothing out of hand. We got a bunch of competitive guys out there, a bunch of guys that they care about what they're doing. So I think you've seen, and I know you've seen. Obviously, I know our guys and our team, and this is no knock to our previous teams, but you always want to try to get as many competitive, really good players on the field every year, on that roster. And I think you've kind of seen it grow in these last few. There's just a lot more, competitive, really good football players out there on the field at a lot of different positions. I think that adds to a little bit of the, energy, and adds to the day-to-day competitiveness, because you got a lot of good versus good, a lot of that, and I think it makes you have to come to work every day ready for a challenge.
Philip, you've been known as a premier quarterback in this league for a while now, but you're talking about all the talent that you finally have here. What are your expectations personally going into the season with all this talent?
Well, I think again, I don't see that. I don't feel like there can be momentum from one year to the next. But I think the challenge for us, especially offensively, is how quick can we get back to where we were those last 8 weeks of last year, because we were playing it as well as any offense in the league down the stretch. So we got to get back there sooner and not wait until halfway through the year. But our expectations are high. But again, expectations, everybody is. If you go around all other 31 teams, everybody's excited about what they think this new season is going to bring. We just have to keep our head down. I think there's a little more hype around us this year than maybe last, and we can't let that. We haven't won the division a long time, so we have a lot of work to do. But we certainly believe we can get it done.
When you look around the division, it's so much change. With the other 2 teams, you may have addressed this, but is there strength and stability in the trend?
I think so, and it's crazy that to say that we may be the most stable of the bunch as far as the change, because we dealt with so much of it. The one thing I think in Kansas City you have, obviously they lose a coordinator, but that coaching staff with Andy Reid, they've been there now for a long time, so that system is there in place. But they have some changes at key positions, and those other teams in the West have some changes as well. So I do think that's key, and that's something that we were the farthest from it last year. New coach, new place, all of those things. So we definitely feel more comfortable. All of those things now, not that we allowed them to be an excuse, but they certainly aren't this year. And I do just feel like we're so far ahead of where we were last year at this time, which I think again just lends to confidence, lends to the ability to work and not worry about all the other distractions. And hopefully that'll give us an edge as we move forward.
Speaking of distractions, how do you feel about the new NFL anthem?
Well, I think to me, I think it's a personal. It's personal to each and every person. Whether in the locker room or in your field or anything. To me, that's personal to every person. So the change won't affect how I've always approached it. So you respect everybody's things that they want to see changed, everybody's views. You respect all of them. We don't always all agree. But so for me, this change really has no effect. But you understand how it may affect your buddies in the locker room, and so you're respectful of that, caring towards them, and then we just keep moving forward.
It seems like you guys handled it pretty well last year. Do you think it might be different if guys stay in the locker room or if guys stay out and get fined for it? I think Coach Lynn did a great job of handling that. I feel like we just, and again, every locker room can say this. I only know about ours. We have a very respectful locker room when it comes to one another.
So I think everybody understood. Everybody's different. Again, we don't always agree, and I thought, like you said, it was handled in a very professional manner. Here, I expect it will be the same. I don't sense that it will be a distraction for us. Again, regardless of how it plays out, if guys stay in, if guys, I don't sense that being a distraction for this group.
Philip, do you think this is one of the most talented defense you've ever had?
Well, shoot, we've had some really good defenses, but certainly this has the makeup to be right up there. Shoot, certainly. I think the thing I love going against them every day because again they challenge you in every position, and they really like to play for and with one another, which is key. I can speak of that offensively, but I see it on defense. And when you got 11 guys pulling in the same direction, you got a chance. And throw in the fact that you have Pro Bowl players over there, they got a chance to be really special.
Philip, not sure if you kept an eye on the NFL Top 100 rankings, but Keenan checks in at number 41. Can you talk about what he does for you guys and why he's so important to it?
Yeah, he's all those things are arbitrary, all those things. But we think he's definitely one of the best receivers in the league. But Keenan has earned that. He has earned that. He dealt with some tough injuries. In Baltimore, falling on the pylon in that game when he was coming on like crazy in that year, and then obviously having the knee injury in Week 1 in Kansas City. He's really fought back and earned himself that respect and to be seen as one of the top receivers. And he's always had the ability. He's always been ahead of many guys as far as his understanding of the game, and then he really learned how to do it as a pro, and it's been fun to be a part of it.
All right, thanks, Phil.
All right.